So close, looked like it could have been a day for BMC.
Yeah, TJ Van Garderen was very aggressive. He'd been initiating the break early on in the day, and then we see him here attacking now at the base of the climb. This is actually the very first time up Alpe d'Huez. You can see Reblon in the distance and Moser third down there. They had all been in the break together all day. He looked comfortable and systematic. He was climbing well and had a really safe buffer there of nearly 8 minutes.
Kind of reminded us how he got 5th last year in the Tour de France.
Absolutely. What we saw back in the yellow jersey was the descent here. This is Contador attacking past in a nice little gap there past Froome and his two leaders, Port and Keno, on the descent. And he and his teammate Kreuziger ended up with about a 10 to 15 second advantage on this long, winding descent. So they were aggressive, but it never really came to anything.
I think they were desperate.
Absolutely, and perhaps they hoped for a bigger advantage, but Port is a great descender. Now we see Froome attacking the second time up the climb and really putting in a huge acceleration, Port just letting him go. The chasers here are Rodriguez, Valverde, Quintana and their Belkin rider had already been dropped by this stage. So these were the key protagonists and Froome really working hard.
I was surprised to see Froome attack there so early. We had Richie riding on the front. It was only down to 4 or 5 guys that were following. And when you expose yourself like that with 9.5k to go of Alpe d'Huez, and you bog down a bit, and we saw what happened to him later on, you leave yourself open big time.
Absolutely. It's pushing up above that threshold and burning a lot of calories. We see Port, though, even though he'd been dropped by Froome's great attack, he bridges back up to this group that's got Quintana and Rodriguez. And they're just overtaking Jens Voigt, your favourite man. Now, interestingly, this was the point when this group of four regrouped. They're only 3.5 minutes down on the TJ Van Garderen, who's still leading the race 5k from the finish. What we saw next, though, was... Can
I just quickly, before we get on there, what Richie did then was sit behind Kreuziger and Contador, wait, and then go across them. Incredible.
And at this point here, we've got Kreuziger and Contador a minute down on this group. So they've lost quite a bit of time with, just over 5 kilometres to go on the climb. Not a great day for Contador, despite his aggressive tactics.
Oh, well, they've still got tomorrow. You can keep going for it, can't they?
My word.
Then, of course, one of the big moves, the confusion that occurred here was when Froome was clearly calling for something, for attention. And during this confusion was when Quintana put in a really sensational attack.
How good's this kid?
I mean,
he's great.
He just breathes through his ears.
Kevin Costner, Waterworld. Rodriguez is closely tucked behind very safely. But look, this is my favourite moment of the race. TJ Van Garderen's been away on the climb the whole time. Reblon had been looking at him in the distance, closing that gap, and did what everyone should do when they're catching a race leader, which is attack with such veracity that they move past them, and this TJ was unable to respond. So a really emotional and incredibly satisfying win there for Reblon, kissing his pendant 943 times for luck. But it was a beautiful win by him. We saw his team car absolutely, ecstatic. And then, interestingly, the performances by everyone else, that split the GC up over the day.
What about, aside from a couple of dodgy YouTube clips of that descent from the first loop of Alpe d'Huez, last night was the first time we got to see it. Did it look as bad as we all feared it might be?
I mean, I felt like people really managed themselves well. The road wasn't wet. There'd been a bit of rain throughout the day, but really everyone was safe.
I think everyone rode to the conditions.
Yeah,
as you have to do. But this guy, Reblon, is incredible. His last win was 3 years ago in the Tour, in the Pyrenees. Now he's popped off the biggest mountain stage for a Frenchie. He likes winning the big ones.
And what does that mean to the French?
It's enormous. 19 stages it's taken them to win one, and in the 100th edition, it's just magnificent for them.
All right, thanks for that, Doc. What a hard act to follow it'll be tonight.